Howdy partners, I'm Sunset Carson. Today I have a couple special guests here today, some boys I've known a long time that worked back with me in a movie called Sunset Carson Rides Again. Mr. Lee Broome. Lee, how you doing?
Just fine, Sunset. How are you?
Just fine. Ray, how you doing there, partner?
Fine, real good. Thank you.
You know, it's really swell you boys drop out and visit with us today.
Well, it's a pleasure, Sunset, I assure you.
I want to know what you've been up to. I heard you was over there at Columbia Pictures, chasing old Charlie Starrett around and a few of the cowboys over there.
Yeah, we chased him around for a while and finally run him out of town. Then Ray Corrigan come along and we chased him out of town too. And we've worked with quite a few of the cowboys, and I guess the longest streak we had was working with you. I think we started here in California with you, and it's been a real good time for all of us. We want you to know that. Our first coming to California was with Sunset Carson, and we had some mutual friends back in Tennessee, and incidentally they're back there still, and I plan to visit, and you know them very well, and I just want to say it's a real pleasure to be out here with you, Sunset.
Yep.
And I want you to know that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lee, Ray. And see, we go back on the road show days. We showed the TD Kemp circuit, didn't we?
Yeah,
Kansas circuit, throughout Louisiana, the Joy Theaters.
Oh man, old TD Kemp would jump you from Charlotte, North Carolina to Florida.
Yeah.
And then the next day you'd be 10 miles out of Charlotte.
Right.
Next day you'd be 10 miles out of the town you showed the day before. You know, he really made you earn your money, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he
Sure
really did.
No sleeping.
It was a big circuit, though.
Yeah, it was a big circuit. I tell you, I don't know why. The boys nowadays on the road wouldn't put up with it. They just wouldn't go it, you know.
No.
But we worked all day and we drove in town. I know many a times we'd start driving after we finished the show. We'd load up our stuff, get in the cars, trailers, and we'd drive all night. We'd get to town the next day about 10 or 11 o'clock. Sometimes we had time for breakfast, sometimes we didn't. We'd go straight to the theater. The theater'd be unlocked. We'd unload our equipment, get it ready. And the guy says, all right, the movie's going to start about 12 o'clock. Now you got time, boys got time to shave now and change clothes. And we'd shave, change clothes, and walk out on the stage and running the cartoons, the coming attractions, and the Sunset Carson movie. And then we'd follow the movie with the stage show, and Zoom was on again, and sometimes we'd do 7 and 8 shows a day, wouldn't we?
Yep.
Yes, we would.
And then when the last show was over with, if we didn't have too far to go, we had time to have breakfast after we finished the last show.
Yeah.
You bet.
That's just about the way it worked out, wasn't it?
Those times were pretty rugged, but after all, we did enjoy them.
They were an awful lot of fun, you know.
Yeah.
You'd go along the road, you know, and you'd run into old Fuzzy and oh gosh, you'd run into Lash and Don Redbury and all the boys. They'd go out on the road after their movies and go with their pictures, and you didn't know who was going to pop in on the stage, you know. You'd walk in. I remember one time we was on the stage. I guess you remember too. I walked out there and said hello, and I hadn't said anything funny, and everybody was dying laughing, you know, and I said, uh-oh, I forgot to zip my zipper, you know, and I kind of glanced down, my zipper was zipped, and the people were just roaring, you know. And I look over my shoulder, and who has his head through the curtain? Old Fuzzy had his head sticking through the curtain. He was making faces at everybody.
Well, he just had to act natural.
Yeah,
Fuzzy.
well, old Fuzzy did. You know, I didn't even know he was in 1,000 miles of the place.
Yeah.
Nobody else did, you know. That's just the way things happen. One guy drop in on the other one and kind of mess up his audience for a little bit, play a trick on him. And yeah, you remember, you know, we'd run into Bob Wells, you know, quite a few times, the Texas Playboys on the road, you know. That Bob, he'd come out there with that big cigar. Wow, what a guy.
Yeah, real nice guy.
A wonderful band, Bob Wills.
Yeah.
Sure did.
That son of a gun, he really packed them in. And he was a great showman.
Right.
Great showman. And then too, a couple other old boys we'd run into was old Hawkshaw Hawkins. you know, an old cowboy Copus down the line, and little Jimmy Dickens. Remember, we'd run into little Jimmy every once in a while, you know?
Yeah.
Often teased little Jimmy about it. I told him I wanted to borrow his suits. He said, "What are you going to do with them? Dress your boots in them?"
That's a good way.
Oh gosh.
Hey, you ever see Peggy?
Peggy Stewart?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Peggy was on the show the other day. She's doing wonderful. She's doing serials now, you know, soap operas.
Yeah, she was a nice lady.
Yeah, very nice lady, beautiful lady. And too, we had another young lady that come down, was on her show quite a while too, was Nellie Walker,
Yeah.
the stunt girl, remember?
Yeah.
One that did all the riding and stuff for a lot of the leading ladies. She's up in Big Bear someplace, retired. I hear from her every once in a while. And another guy, you remember old Bob Brown, the one that made all of it. Well, in fact, he made this gun belt.
Yeah,
here, you know?
I remember him.
The Sunset gun belt, you know, and he made
Remember him?
made old Gary Cooper's belts, Gary Cooper's hats, you know, and all those good things. And it's, you know, it's just wonderful to run into people like that,
Yeah,
you know.
sure.
It'd been a long time since I'd run into Bob. He moved from Hollywood. I was on the road, and he moved from Hollywood, and he went up to Big Bear. And I'd completely lost him for 20 years. And I was at a film festival in Hollywood, and a guy comes up to me and said, "Hey, you know Bob Brown?" I said, "Sure, I know Bob Brown. Where in the heck is he?" He said, "Well, he's up at Big Bear," and he gave me the phone number. And that night I called old Bob, and we've been corresponding. I've been able to spend the weekend with him, you know, every once in a while, and go up and visit with him about the old days. He was really a great guy to run into. And let's see, who was some of our other old buddies we used to?
Well, I run into a woman one time. In fact, I probably shouldn't even say this, but I got married one time. And you know who my best man was? Sunset Carson. I hate to tell these people how old you are, old buddy, but that's been a while.
No, I tell you, I don't mind that, you know. I'm glad that I wouldn't take anything in the world for my life and show business, the movies and the road shows and things we traveled on. And it's all been good to me. I've loved it. And the most wonderful thing about it is the friends you meet on the road, and friends that are friends through life, like you boys.
Yeah.
Now, nobody would believe how long we've known each other, and I'm not going to tell them if you won't.
Okay, well, I think we should.
Well, we've been riding the range together, I guess, since about 1946.
That's
it.
correct.
That's a long time.
That's
isn't it?
right.
That's a long time. I tell you, we've had some good times and bad times, but still our friendship has never broken up. And that's one thing in life that a man has to be proud of.
Right.
Oh, sure.
Well, if I had it to do over again, I'd do the same thing, except I'd make a few little changes, but not very many.
Yeah, you need to change this little guy for a bigger one.
You know, it's really swell to have you boys on the show and come down and visit with me on the Hollywood Nostalgia Theater. God bless you.
You too,
Thank you very
Sunset.
much, Lee.
It's our pleasure.
Ray, thank you.
You're welcome. It's nice to be here.
Thank you. Now, well, partners, I hope you've enjoyed our edition today on the Sunset Carson Hollywood National Theater with our friends, the Broome Brothers. Until we see you again, so long, goodbye, and may God bless.
So long.